Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to welcome you to the latest version of the Certified ESG Analyst, the CESGA of the European Federation of Financial Analyst Societies, EFFAS. I'm very happy to introduce a program with the advantages we're going to deliver, and we'll focus on 4 different aspects, what we think is very important. You all know that ESG is becoming more and more mainstream, that it's becoming more and more important for investment decisions. And we started the program already in 2013. So it's a very mature program we can offer to you today. And we focus on different aspects, what we think is extremely important. Of course, first of all, ESG data. For your investment decisions, or also from a corporate perspective, it is very important to have reliable information, reliable data. And we know that there is a lack of data. What we are offering in this program is a way how to analyze the data for both investment decisions, but also for consulting work. So whatever kind of information is needed for your professional investment decision. What we also cover is the whole question of ESG regulation and ESG reporting. We do see a lot of initiative on a global basis in terms of different regulations for ESG aspects, but especially also for reporting. If you think about the development we do see with the ISSB, or on a European level with EFFAS, or also on a global level with the SEC, we do see that reporting became more and more important in the last couple of months and years. Our objective is to provide a very comprehensive program. So therefore, we also address different asset classes. We do not focus on equity. We also include bonds like green bonds, but also real estate and other asset classes in one dedicated module, especially for different asset classes. And last but not least, we also offer a due diligence process. That means a detailed process of how to analyze a company based on ESG criteria, but also how to integrate that into portfolio management based on different case studies. So what are the main advantages? If you look at the CESGA program from your individual perspective, it is developed by a group of experts who are working in that field for many, many years with an academic backing, but a very clear focus group is here practitioners who will learn for their daily job. And we include different international perspective. Of course, it's coming from a European perspective, but we added module for South America, for Asia, and also for North America to understand the global development of ESG and the global need for an ESG education. As I just said, we have a strong academic foundation, but it's definitely made by practitioners for practitioners because we think that there is a special need in the market for that kind of program. And the question is, who's the target group? We started with modules for beginners so that you get a very good introduction into ESG, also the foundations. What we think is also important for more experienced ESG experts, so that you have the basis for your investment decisions. And we combine that in the second part with case studies, with more detailed information, so that it fits to both the needs of beginners, but also for those of professionals who are already experienced in that field. An additional feature is that we offering this program 100% online. That means you get all material on the platform, like the videos, the slides, multiple choice questions to practice your knowledge in preparation of the exam. And the exam also covers both parts, more the introduction, but also the case study, because we would like to enable you to work with this information and to use the knowledge also for the cases you have to solve in practice, because even there you are in charge of developing case studies and to solve the day-to-day problems with this program. ESG is a very dynamic field, so therefore we decided to update the program regularly, which means usually once a year, to give you all the news information about the market trends, but also the regulation, and especially in terms of regulations, we do have a lot of changes which we are adapting here in the program. You have the possibility to take the exams internationally, so we have a lot of corporations in Europe, but also in Asia, so that you are able to participate in the exam on an international level. With more than 3,500 CESGA holder, we can see that there is a trust in the market for this program. So therefore, it's a very reliable and well-known program already. So what do we cover? We have 9 different modules. As you can see, we start with a general introduction to ESG about the background. Then we have a dedicated chapter for the regulatory requirements both for corporates, but also for the financial industry. And then we dig deeper into the different approaches of ESG. So we start with the ESG strategy. So what kind of different approaches do we have to integrate ESG into an investment strategy? Then the chapter I already mentioned, ESG in different asset classes. And then a whole chapter on ESG reporting. We start with a European perspective, but of course this is a global aspect. So we also cover the ISSB development, of course, GRI, TCFD, all the reporting requirements that are published in the last, let's say, 5 years. And then the chapters 7 to 9 are more step-by-step an introduction to the case study you will solve. So we start with a general question of how to integrate ESG in research. With different perspective on environment, social and governance. So what are typical criteria, how to evaluate E, S and G, not only using a database that is available, but understanding the approach and the logic behind the generation of ESG data. The next step is how to integrate ESG in valuation. So typical valuation models for equity, but also for debt. We will analyze different approaches how to do that. And the module 8 kind of summarizes the findings we had before. So we have an investment process chain with different steps, and we will go through all the steps to see how ESG can be integrated into the different steps of an investment process chain. Yes, and the module number 9 is then the final case study where you can use all the knowledge you generated in the first 8 modules into solving real ESG cases. So we have different case studies there, and also the possibility to integrate that from a portfolio management perspective. So we also have a case study for portfolio management, which is kind of combining the case study from a corporate level and from the investor's perspective. So then we have the complementary modules 10 covering regional developments in Asia Pacific, in Latin America and also North America. So a very comprehensive program from our point of view, regularly updated to the new trends in ESG. So, and this is how we try to integrate it in a more holistic approach with 3 objectives we would like to tackle. The reorientation of the capital flow. So shifting the trillions is a term you are probably familiar with. All the question of how sustainability can be integrated into risk management. So how to adopt the risk, but also the opportunities that are linked to ESG integration. And the third objective is how to foster transparency and the long-term perspective in investment decisions. Linked to what the European Union is expecting from their strategies, as you will see in module number 2. So then you can see we have the different modules linked here, show how they are interacting, and the basis is what are the targets group we are going to address. And you can see that there is a variety of different perspectives we are integrating here, different institutions, companies, banks, asset managers, of course also service provider, who are willing and able to use this program to support their own work. So having finally a look at the ESG framework, how we are training that, how we are integrating that into the analysis, the valuation, and also the formulation of investment strategies. So first of all, we think it's important to understand risk and opportunities that are linked to ESG investing. And therefore, we are training different strategies, different approaches, how to integrate ESG, depending on the objectives you defined for your investment approach. That means we also think that it's very important to integrate ESG in the investment process chain, because every investor, every investment strategy has a slightly different investment process chain. And we would like to provide tools how to integrate ESG in the different steps of the investment process chain. And of course, next step in the valuation of companies, the analysis of different companies and their approaches. And we also think that if you look at the different asset classes, also the different reporting requirements are important. So that's why we have this dedicated module for reporting. By the way, not only company reporting, but also the reporting of financial institutions, because also there the demand both by regulator but also by asset owner is growing in terms of the reporting requirements for financial institutions. Regarding the market trust, I already mentioned, we have a list of different companies that use the ESG program for the training of their staff. And you can see it's a very comprehensive list of well-known institutions in the capital market who are using the CESGA already for training their employees. Overall, I think we are developing, and it's a very dynamic process, we are developing an ESG program, the CESGA, that fits to different demands, different stakeholder groups, and we would be more than happy if we could welcome you as a CESGA holder in the future as well. Thank you very much.